All right. So once again, we are back at the Chop Shop, where we just chop it up, talk about political issues, social issues, things of sports. But tonight we want to touch on something, that's real important. As we all know, it's a lot that's been going on. It's a lot of movement going on. It's a lot of things happening in our community. We're finally starting to see some kind of justice, but we know it's a small smoke screen until we see major changes. Like, we want real changes. Like, we don't want some people coming out, because there's a lot of people that's coming out that's empowered, that's taking a stance, and we love that. But for us, 400 years of dealing with oppression and being mistreated and stuff like that, like, we want things etched in stone the same way it was for those that was empowered. So our show is basically, we like to talk about things that's important and that's relevant. Like, we don't like wasting people's time or wasting our own time. So we just gonna dive in tonight. I got Todd, Joe, Dana, Slice, and myself, and we're gonna go in this order. We're gonna go like I got on my screen. We're gonna go Todd, then Joe, then Slice, and then myself. And so the first question is a simple question, but I think is a thought-provoking one as well. It said, if you were elected to Congress, what would you want to see passed in order to make things fair in this country? So, Ty, what would you say about that?
Well, I mean, if I was elected to Congress, the first thing I would want to do is make sure Congress reflects America, meaning that no disrespect to no race, but there shouldn't be the whole Congress made up of white men. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make any sense. We have a country where we have blacks, white, Mexicans, we have Chinese, we have men and women. So I think Congress, first of all, needs to be made up of what America is made of, a variety of people. That way you have different mentalities and different way of people seeing different things. And second of all, man, it really got to get back to, man, doing what's right for the people, man. Like, think about it. We got people in Congress that's been there 30, 40 years, and basically all they've done is make sure things is good for themselves. They really don't care about us. They just really basically doing what's best for them. And I'm not, when I first heard about Congress and all that, it's always say, the people supposed to run them. Like, they work for us. We pay they checks. We make the money for them. So it should be more of a dialogue with them feeling what we need, and then they go out and do what's best for what our needs, rather than them making a decision just saying, hey, this is how things are, and this is how you have to do it. We have to get back to them working for us, where we make the decisions, and then they just put it, implement them. But they should not be the ones in charge and telling us what to do. But my main thing is just a variety, man. I'm tired of seeing, and it's no disrespect, that I'm not a racist person at all, but I don't want to see 50 congressmen and it's 50 white men, like, and it's 50 older white men. It's not like, new people with different ideas. It's these dudes that's been in Congress for the same years, 20 years and all that, with the same ideas, and that has to change.
That's good. That's good stuff right there. What about you, Joe?
You know what? I got this question. I struggle with this question, man. I struggle with this question because this is the deal, right? The way I look at it, right? If you cook a cake, you bake a cake, you put all the ingredients that you think that you want to have in that cake. Once the cake is done, it's too late. So, and I say that to say this, I look back at the one basic thing, something, it's a picture that I had, it's a quote. We hold these things true to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, the things that are I don't think we have a rule problem. So I think it's nothing that I would do if I would be a member of Congress. I don't think we have a rule problem. I think we have a heart problem. And I think that we have a penalty problem. If we was to say something we have to change everything. We have to go all the way from the ground floor and redo the Declaration of Independence, all these things. We'd have to redo them or make people really live by them. Okay, so if you don't treat people like they're equal, then you're gonna have this penalty. That's the only thing I think we can do. Besides that, it's just masking it. It's just masking it.
Good stuff, no doubt. What about you, Dana?
I want to go. Well, it was a tough question for me too. But I was thinking about. I just thought about healthcare. I thought about healthcare, which is very, very, very important here. And if I could have some type of legislation over how healthcare was divvied out or how it was brought about, who gets this and who gets that. And that's really big, man, especially in this time. And, you know, as you can see in New York with as many cases as it was, a lot of these people, man, didn't have healthcare, man. And it's a lot of people that weren't registered, you know, or immigrants, as they say, and it shouldn't be like that. I think healthcare is very big, and just for me, I just would want to pass something for healthcare, so everybody is equal and everybody can get the same type of healthcare that, you know, these other countries, you know, so-called get. So that's something for me, is the healthcare in America.
No doubt. Slice, what about you? Good stuff.
Hey, like the other brothers, it was a tough question. Hey, but as far as like passing laws, as far as Congress, I have to take some from each one of the brothers had some good points. I mean, first and foremost, I think the Constitution needs to be redone. We need to start out with the Constitution. Make the Constitution equal for everybody. Everybody. Like Ty said, you know, it needs this United States, America is built on diversity. We have all kind of different nationalities and races. So we need to have where the Congress reflects that, not just like you say, older white men, which most of them Congress are older white men. It needs to reflect everybody, race, nationality, females, males, you know, age, everything. And especially as far as changing the Constitution, that would be first and foremost, changing laws that prioritize Caucasian. The law should reflect everybody, not just prioritize Caucasians, but prioritize everybody. Everybody is equal in this country, and laws should be reflected to show that. Especially like Dane said, healthcare. We should have healthcare for everybody. Everybody should be able to have healthcare and change the rules of healthcare, not just let it cater to people who got money and stuff. As far as like I live in Dallas, they cater to the north side here. It shouldn't be that way. It should be catered all over Dallas, Fort Worth area. Everybody should get the same kind of treatment. Don't just treat the rich white folks out of North Dallas. And that's, you know, it should reflect everybody should get the same equal treatment. That's first and foremost too, when it comes down to Congress, the senators, the representatives, the governors, the mayors. It shouldn't be no favoritism like it is in America. So it should reflect equality overall. Don't just sugarcoat me with equality and then you doing stuff behind our back and making sure these people getting taken care of a lot better than other people are getting taken care of. And you're running out people per se, having people go back to Mexicans, you know, deporting them back and everything. Now, if they are here already, make them part of America. They are part of America too. They are part of the fabric of America. Not just blacks, not just whites, you know, not just Indians. We all together make America. And that's what can make America great. Not again, great for the first time.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. All right, so Mo, you just came on. So the first question, if you was elected to Congress, what would you want to see passed in order to make things fair in this country?
Okay. Well, I don't know if we can ever make anything fair, but you know, first of all, I guess we would have to, you know, get over those archaic rules and regulations and constitutions that have been out there before we were allowed to vote. That's the first thing we would have to do. And I'm pretty sure, you know, most of the guys probably said that. we'd have to limit the terms that Congress and the Senate can serve too, as well, to give more people opportunity of color to get in there. What else we'd have to do is make them more accessible for everyone to learn, everyone to know, and get some of this, I guess, antiquated terminology out of the equation, and make it just simple, cut and dry, where people could, know what's going on, black and white. None of this like, oh, I didn't know stand the ground rule was a law or something that was even still on the books or whatnot. Things like that. So I think just the accessibility, and then just limited terms on the Congress, and making it available for more people of color to get into the Congress or Senate or the House. Mitch McConnell and some of these guys that have been lifetime senators and stuff like that, Lindsey Graham, that's all they know. I mean, how else are we gonna make it fair or get an opportunity if we don't limit the terms? So that's what I would think would need to be done first and foremost.
Good stuff. So Slice stole my opening statement, because one of the things I said was, for sure, we have to redo the Constitution, because it's just like when you build a house. Joe referred to a cake, and I'm gonna refer to a house. Like, if I'm building a house, I can't. If I got a basement, I can't start with my first floor. Without starting from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I think that we haven't been treated fairly, because the laws was never written to make it fairly, except for those that were in power. So you would have to start there first and foremost, but you would have to have a panel. I would have a representation of everyone. So you get, number one, you get different ideas, but also you get different input. Because when everything was written, it was all white people. There was no minorities of no ethnicity. So we had no say so. Now we're going by laws and rules of some people that were slave owned. So you can imagine the mentality that they had back then. And we're still living in that time today. So that would be the first thing. Also, I would go hard for voting rights, because just like when they ended slavery, they had an idea and a system and a plan to take away voting, and that implementing prisons and all of that coincide with each other. So I would definitely do that, because as we see now with voter suppression, they're trying to limit so many people from voting because they know what's going to happen. They see the outcry of not just black people, but white people who are fed up, Hispanic people, Asian people, Middle Eastern people. Like this, and this country is supposed to be so great, and why are we doing so much wicked and cruel stuff to so many different people? And people are tired. So I would do that. And then my third point would be funding, right? I would make sure all cities have equal opportunity. Give everybody a chance. Now, whether they use it, that's on them. But when it comes to education, healthcare, affordable living, and all of that, I would make sure that everyone has an opportunity equally, right? And then what you do with it is on you. You can never say, I didn't get a chance. I live in this community and they didn't do this. So I will push heavily for that. And then that way you can make America great for the first time, as Slice said. Not again, because it was never great for us at all. So if you want to make it great for everyone, then you start off by making equality for everyone. So I think those are the steps that I would take. All right, we're gonna shoot to the second question. What role, and the reason I picked this is because I think, I don't know everybody's situation, but I know it's a consensus. Like when we talk, a lot of us had to grow up without fathers. So that's why I came up with this next question. And then us having kids, and for those who don't have kids, who play roles as fathers to young men. You know what I mean? Just because you don't have a son, that don't mean that you're not a father. You know what I mean? I got one child, and my wife has a child, so I have two daughters, but I also work with young men who I'm like fathers to. You know what I'm saying? So we all play father roles. What role does not having a father in your life have on young black men and women in our communities? On you, Ty.
Well, I think that's a big thing, especially for males. You know what I mean? Like not having that person to kind of guide you through life. Like, I mean, Joe and Dana grew up with us, so they know our story is my pops was murdered when we was 9 years old. You know what I mean? So we never really had no male to explain to us how to be a man. And the key thing is, I think another reason why me and Rome was so tight, it was like we was only a year and a half apart. So even though I was the older brother, I wasn't always the older brother. You know what I mean? It's like at times I was his pops. At times he was my pops. You know what I mean? Like we kept each other in check because where we lived, there was a lot going on. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of different ways we could have went. So he kept me in check, like, hey, you know we can't do this. And I kept him in check, like, you know we can't do that. So I think we benefited from each other. But I know there's a lot of kids that grow up, you know, with no direction. Like there's no one telling them how to do things. It's just people telling you what to do. And I think a main thing with this world that we have problems with is it's easy to tell somebody what to do, but you have to explain to them what's the consequences of doing it, how you do it, and why you would do it. You know what I mean? Like today we just tell kids, hey, don't do that. Hey, don't do that. But we don't explain to them why not to do it. So you know how kids are. If a grown-up telling me not to do it, I want to figure out why. So I'm going to go do it and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? And then it's too late. So I think having a father figure, like especially, like don't get me wrong, for women too, because they need to see the first male in their life who really loves them and sets them up for, like, think about it. If you have a dad and you're a female and your dad treats you like a queen, when you get out in these streets, you're not going to accept anything less than how your dad treated you. You know what I mean? But for these women who never had a real man in their life, they let a man treat them anyway, like do anything to them. So that's the thing. But for men, like you need someone that's a man so you can see how it's supposed to be done. And like I said, me and my brother was blessed because we had each other, man. Like I always say to this day, my number one person in this world as the coolest dude I ever met is my brother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he taught me, like, even though, like I said, I'm the oldest, but I'm only a year and 4 months older than him, he taught me more than any other man would ever teach me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's the so-called younger brother, but it was at times, like I said, he was my pops. Like, hey, yo, dog, you can't do that. I had the utmost respect to him, and he sit back and not say, come on, man, I'm the older brother. I ain't got to listen to you. Like, I understand what you're saying. And he was my person that kept me in check all through my life. And even to this day, like, sometimes I could tell, like, if I do something, I could call Rome and be like, hey, Rome, blah, blah, blah. And Rome would say, hey, yo, dog, that was wrong, or blah, blah, blah. And I easily, like, I don't check him like, yo, I'm not, like, yeah. All right, because I know if Rome say it's wrong, then, hey, dog, it's wrong, and I got to be a man and man up to it. So, yeah, that having that man figure, we got to have that, man.
Yeah, and then we do, I mean, you do the same thing with me, you know what I mean? So it's just that accountability part, and like, it don't matter, you know what I mean? Age ain't got nothing to do with nothing. It's about respect, love, and just being true, you know what I mean? And we missing that so much with these young kids that I deal with, but I'll talk about that. Go ahead, Joe, it's on you, brother.
So I'm adopted. So but I grew up with the same father from the time that I was young all the way. So I did have a man in the house with me that grew up. Now, my father was a minister. He was super into the church, and that was his path. His path was church or bus. So all the things that I was interested in as a kid, he wasn't trying to interest in. They never saw me play basketball. They never saw me do anything. They came to my high school graduation, my mom did, and they both came to my college graduation. Great parents, not taking nothing away from them. It's just that I feel like I needed people on the outside. I hung out with all people my age. The first person older than me that showed any interest in me was Craig, left-handed Craig from Kings Park. That's the first person any age that ever showed any type of interest in me. And so when you don't have a person that's out there in the gutter with you, I mean, you know, to say, then he can't guide you. He don't know what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? He don't know. Like, I've been messing up my whole life. You know what I'm saying? But if I had been on the path where he was at, or maybe I should have been, you know, the church path, maybe he'd have been right there. But, you know, everybody can't have the same path. So I think that you have to navigate life, you know, the way you got to find out. Like I've been in some situations, man. And if I had somebody older that could have told me, yo, then maybe I could have, you know, came through them better. And as far as ladies too, Ty hit it directly on the head. If the first time your daughter gets flowers is from another dude, he got more say so than you, point blank.
Yeah.
So that's what I got.
Yo, Joe, I've known you all my life, bro, and I did not know that. Everything that you just said, I did not know. That's crazy.
Mhm.
Crazy, huh?
That's
Yeah.
what's up. Yeah, man, that's powerful.
Yeah, I knew that.
That's why.
I knew
That's
that.
why.
Yeah, I knew
That's
that
why I
too.
thought y'all knew. I knew it.
I didn't know.
You knew it, Ty? I knew it.
Yeah, I knew he was adopted.
Yeah.
I just didn't know, you know, everything to it. But yeah, we talked. I remember knew he was adopted. I just didn't know all the stuff and who was dad and all that. But
It
yeah, I
ain't
knew.
bad. I still got a good life, you know what I'm saying? But I just like I think that some of the things that I could have navigated like college. You know,
Yeah,
and
no
back
doubt.
in the day, you got to realize the parents back in the day, they weren't trying to send you to college. They wanted you to work. They're trying to get you prepared to get out there and get money so you can get out their house. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different time. You get what I'm saying? I don't fault him. I'm just a different parent. Now, is my son going to have a good life like me? I don't know. That's yet to be determined. Maybe they needed to be like that so I could turn out like this. Who knows?
No doubt. It's on you, Dana. That's good, though. I'm glad you shared that.
I think it's all about self-esteem and respect and learning the laws of life. That's why you need that. Me and my father, we weren't tight. You know, it's more of my fault than I think it is his, because I was just, you know, I didn't really understand I think it's the way he said it. I wasn't really receptive of it. But now that I look back on it, you know, it was really, you know, what he was saying is really, you know, really big. But as far as having it in a woman's life, that's really big, man. Because like Ty and Joe said, you know, if you're treated a certain way, or he sees that, you know, you treat the mother a certain way, she's gonna be wanting to treat it the same way. She's not gonna settle for less. Where we all know, I mean, come on, we've been around. We all know the chicks that didn't have fathers and the chicks that did have fathers. We know what time it was. So, I mean, come on. I mean, we were young. So, you know, you as a father, you know what goes on and what can happen. So you being there to steer her away from the guys like that, you know, it's really big, man. It really is, and it shows. It shows so much. The stuff that we don't see because of our everyday lives. But you know, it's a lot of trafficking out there, man. A lot of young girls that's out there, you know, and them more than likely, I'll say about 85 to 90% of them didn't have that man in their life. You know what I'm saying? So it's really big, man. It really is. Having that father figure around to steer you. You know, like I said, it was just me and my mother, so I always felt like I had to be the protector of my mother, and not having somebody around, you know, to guide me around. You know, it's like, you know, you had to learn on your own. You had to learn through the people around you. You know, one of the people I learned from was BG. You know, so that tells you right there what I got.
No doubt, no doubt. That's what's up. So on you, Slice.
Okay. Not having a father to young boys and young girls, the role they plays on us in the communities is real big. We all need a father. Girls, and young boys. We need father, because father is like, it's like the mother is the matriarch, father is the patriarch. We need that. Like Exodus 20:12 say, honor thy father and thy mother, and for your days will be long. You know, you need a father to show you, not you, to show you how to be a young man growing up and being from a young boy to a young man to an adult man, a man. We need father to show us, you know, how to treat women, how to live, how to work, how to go out and get a job, and to be, you know, a provider for a family. I mean, family says it all right there. Father and mother, I love you. Everybody needs a father figure or a father in their life to show them. I mean, it's just like learning things without a book, you know? You need a father to kind of show you how to be as a man. And that plays a big role, especially in our Black communities. In our Black communities, there's a lot of fathers missing in homes. And it's to say, it doesn't say that you can't be successful and succeed in life, but it just give you a harder road to be successful and succeed in life.
For sure.
Just like a mother. A mother is the backbone of most families. That father is missing. And to me, it's really sad, because it's nothing like having a father, especially for a man. But not only just for a young man, but for a young girl. Like my brother said, you know, you need that father to show her how to treat, how she should be treated, how she should be loved. Not being just putting up with anybody to show you love. And when they show you the negative way of abuse and treating you wrong, you know, she needs that father to show her how he loved her mother. That's all I have.
No doubt.
Yes, sir.
It's on you, Mo.
All right. So, so my parents had me when they were 17. My mom, so they were kids. My mom had a scholarship to the University of Tennessee State University, basketball scholarship. When she got pregnant with me, she had to leave school. She couldn't even go to the same high school. She had to go to an alternative high school. Back then, they didn't allow you to go finish your school when you were pregnant or whatnot. So they got married at a young age, 17. Who's thinking they're gonna get married and have a child, and you're still a child? So it was a rough growing up, seeing, you know, the little time I did get to share with my father, because he died at an early age. But my sister is 4 years younger than I am, and my parents got divorced when we were 7. So to this day, my sister's 50 years old. She's never been married because of the relationship she had with my father, and the love that she had for him, and the heartbreak she saw from him when he wasn't around, or he didn't show up when he was supposed to show up. But now I reflect back on that, and you see, I just know he was a kid himself. He never knew how to be a man, or no one ever raised him to be a man. So my biggest role model and father figure was my mother's father, so my grandfather. To see him, and he was really a man of few words, but he put in that work. You would always see him providing for the family, going to work for the family, helping out the neighborhood, being a deacon, being, you know, in the church, just being that consummate role model, but never really having to say much. He just had to give you a look. So, and you know what time it was. So, I mean, you definitely need that father and mother figure, and it just starts a great background and a great foundation. But if they're young and they've never been taught that, it's kind of, you gotta learn and pick and choose what you see and what you not do. Because I know I learned a lot from my father as of not what to do versus what to do, because it's just something that didn't sit right with me when he would take me around to see his other girls or do this and that. And knowing my mother is at home, and especially now as I'm older and knowing how she sacrificed and never got to finish college or never got to pursue her dreams of a hoop dream because of me. You know, And the first time they had sex, you know, she got pregnant and, you know, kept me. Didn't decide to like abort me or anything else, you know. So family is big, and you know, my mother is like, you know, he's always called me a mama's boy. And that's, you know, some of the things I remember. Him and my sister always were like ace boom coons type. And, you know, like I said, to this day, she's never really experienced a relationship since that because of the foundation or the, you know, the heartbreak that my dad first experienced with her. So, and like I said, just seeing what not to do by like, you know, leaving the house and me and him rolling out and I'm over some woman's house and I'm like sitting there and, you know, they go do whatever they got to do. So it was, you know, I've been experienced at a young age. And now, like I said, as I reflect back on it and think back on it, it's just, he was young and he was immature and he didn't really have that foundation or that to build upon himself. So it's just like, you can say it's a generational curse if you keep perpetuating that same thing. So, you know, I just made a valid effort to break that curse, you know, so that's what I got.
Those emotional scars are something, bro, like with your sister, man. So, you know, we all have them in our family. I think for me, I wrote a quote. I said, not having a father is like having a car with no gas in it. You know, I think that, like, as Ty pointed out earlier, so Mo, you said something. You said your mom got pregnant at 17. My mom actually got pregnant with my brother at 13, had him at 14. Got pregnant with me at 15, had me at 16. So, I mean, if you think 17 is young, you know,
Yeah.
14 and 16 is real young. And my pops was, you know, he was a different kind of guy. Like, he was a wild dude. So, just experiencing life with him for a very short time, and then with him not being there is like, you know, like you didn't have that person to guide you, like to talk to you about things like what to do, what not to do, you know, how to treat a girl, how to treat a girlfriend, how to treat a wife. I think it's crazy. Is like we don't have no handbook on marriage, relationships, and nothing. You know what I mean? No matter what people say, like if you don't have that, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. You know, fortunately, I didn't make too many mistakes, but we all make mistakes. You know what I mean? If you look back at some young ladies you dated or relationships you was in or people you hung around, you'd be like, man, would I have done that if I had been guided the right way? You know what I mean? Maybe we would have, maybe we wouldn't, but I think not having a father leaves a void in your life. You know what I mean? It could be something as going to a game and you see other kids and they pops, and you're like, dang, I wish somebody was here for me. Cause like me and Ty done did so much playing ball, and ain't nobody ever come to see us play. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you try to just become what you didn't receive. That's how you pay it back. That's how you get it on track. Versus being bitter, you say, you know what? And even if you don't have kids, I know Mo don't have kids, right? I know they don't have kids, but I know you guys are in tune with either nephews or cousins or young men or whatever that you pour into. That's giving back, and to be honest, that's what's missing in our communities. Like we don't have enough men. We got people who are adults who should be men, but we don't have enough men. You know what I'm saying? And when I look at the young men that I go into work every day, it's the same common denominator, dog. No fathers. And that's why they don't know how to treat women. They talk so disrespectful to women. You know what I mean? And I check them every single day. They be on the phone and they be talk. I be like, what did you call her? Because if we don't break that, then they'll think that that's cool to talk to women like that. You know what I mean? And Joe, you made an excellent point, and we'll move on when you said about our daughters and stuff like that. And my daughter don't live with me, but I make sure that any young man that come into her life, he gonna have to really step it up. Because what I do for her, I mean, he has there's no comparison. You know what I mean? And I've taught her since she was a young girl how to respect yourself and how to make men respect you. They only gonna treat you the way you allow them to, right? And that's always been my motto. So I don't talk from that fake way of talking. Like we talked about sex early, because I want you, when you lay down with somebody and give yourself to somebody, make sure you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Don't, like, we didn't know a lot of stuff, so we did things that young people do. But if you give them the blueprint on the mistakes not to make, that you'll prepare them, much better. You know what I mean? So I just had lunch with my daughter yesterday, and it's crazy because there's so many fathers out here, that want to be with their kids, and then sometimes you have mothers that you got to deal with stuff. So my daughter lived like an hour away from me, and yesterday was like the first time I seen her in almost 17, 18 months. Crazy, right? But that father-daughter relationship is still there. You know what I mean? Like, and we talked about, a lot of important stuff. You know what I mean? So I realized having a father, why it's definitely important for me to always be a father, no matter what. It doesn't matter what me and the mom, we don't got to get along. You know what I mean? But as a father, like, we got to be there. Like, kids need that. I see that every single day. These kids tell me stuff and reach out to me on a one-on-one basis, like, and tell me some kids have told me some stuff that blew my mind, and they just looking for somebody to be a father to them. So I think it's important, man, for real. So we're gonna go to the last question. As husbands, boyfriends, fiancés, significant others, what do you feel is your responsibility in changing things you may not have gotten as a kid?
Well, it's crazy that, Mo brung up his mother had him when he was 17, because like Rome said, my mom's had me when she was 13. You know what I mean? So, and my pops was 16. So basically, that's two teenagers with a baby, and neither one of them they still kids. So to be honest with you, I never wanted to have kids, like, because I looked at it like my mother and my dad made a mistake by having me too early, where they couldn't take care of me. And I'm a big kid, you know what I mean? Everybody know me. I like to hoop. I don't like, you know what I mean? I'm still a big kid. So in my mind, I was like, I'm never gonna have kids because I don't want to have a kid and not do the right thing. You know what I mean? I don't want to repeat what happened to me. I think we have a problem in our society where we make excuses. For instance, if your parents were alcoholics and you choose to drink, that's your choice. Like, you see what happens to them, so why would you drink? So that's why I looked at it like my parents made a mistake and had me too early. So in my mind, I always said, I'm not having no kid until I know that I can take care of that kid correctly. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not having a girl or get married until I know I can be a man to her and do it correctly. So I didn't have my son until I was 40. You know what I mean? And that's when I felt, hey, okay, I'm ready. And then I try to teach my son the same way. Like, listen, man, girls gonna like you. You think you're a little cute and all that, but you don't have no kids with no girl until you know you're ready to handle a family. It's not like, you don't look at it like, okay, I'm gonna have a baby with this chick and no, as a man, I look at it as a man, you don't start a family until you can take care of that family. So if you get married, you are able to take care of your wife. If you have 2 kids, you're able to take care of your wife and 2 kids. So that always been my mentality, and that's what I put into my son. Like, being a male and being a man is 2 different things. Like, you're born a male and female, but to be a man, you have to do manly things. Like, you don't just get that title just because you're a male. You have to be someone that's responsible and take care of your family. So my whole thing is, I make sure my son is gonna be, I always tell him, you're gonna be way better than me. Because I remember one thing my dad always told me, even though I was young, I remember one day he said to me, what do you want to be when you get older? And I told him, I want to be like you. And it's like, it pissed him off. Because he looked at me and was like, because my dad was a gangster, like, for real. So not these gangsters we see now. I mean, a gangster. So when I said to him I wanted to be like him, it pissed him off. He was like, you better not never be like me. You know what I mean? Like, you better be 10 times better than me. So I remember that. That's one thing I never forgot. So to this day, I tell my son, like, dog, you're going to be way better than me because you have an advantage. Like the way I grew up and the way you're growing up now, believe me, is way different. And that's why sometimes my son will complain about something, you don't know how bad it's, people just choking him. Like, dog, like, what are you complaining about? You know what I mean? Like, if I had what you got as a kid, oh man, like, this is paradise. So that's my one thing. I would tell him, you have to be way better than me. It's not, we have to take, as Black people, I believe, we have to take it up a notch every generation. You know what I mean? Like we all right here, I guarantee you, all of us on this call right here are in better situations than our parents were growing up. Right. So the next step is for our kids to be better than what we were. And then it's supposed to get better. It's not, like I always say, it's supposed to get greater later. You know what I mean? And that's how it's supposed to be. So my mentality as a dad, man, is my son is going to be way greater than me in every aspect. And that's how we all supposed to be.
Good stuff. It's on you, Joe.
So I think the one responsibilities, I got to be like Under Armour. I got to protect the house. That means physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. However, you got to make sure, because you got to set the temperature for your family. So, they'll know your main job as a parent is to put your kid on game. Straight business. Put your kid on game. Yeah. All the hiding stuff from them, no. Put them on game and give them an opportunity to explain it to them. Give them things in doses so that they can know how to, navigate out here in this world. Most of the things I got into, I had no idea. I was running around the streets bumping my head because I didn't have somebody to be like, yo, now, just tell me like, yo, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? I ain't have nobody to tell me you could be anything you want to be. And it's our job to now, the things that we didn't see, that we thought that we needed to be, or we needed as fathers, be that. Be that to our kids. Give them an opportunity to be greater later. You know what I'm saying? Point blank. We got a big responsibility is to make sure that they're free from all sorts of things that can prohibit them from being great. That means stereotypes. You know how it is. You know how we're even though we shouldn't be, you know how it is. You want to free their mind so they'll know that they're just as important as anyone else walking this earth. That's what I think the most responsibility is. You're supposed to prepare them for what's outside this door. Because what's inside, it could be fixed easily because it's just y'all, it's family. But once you get outside the door, yeah.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Whole different one, boy.
Yeah. That's what's up. So you, Dana, just Joe.
Well, I don't have kids, so the reason why I don't have kids is I don't think I've matured until late, really late, and I wasn't gonna have a kid by just anybody, so it just didn't work out. That's just the way it was. But I have, been involved in a few kids' lives that from the chicks that I've dated or from the females that I've dated, and I just used to try to just be as positive as I could, firm and positive, and from what I said, just I couldn't say anything else except for that. I could tell them what I experienced and let them go off of that. I do that now to a couple of kids that I know. I just give them my experience. Say, listen, look at it this way. Instead of trying to look at it that way, look at it this way and then see how you feel about it. But you guys are like, I love the way you guys are fathers because that's the way it's supposed to be from each one of your, perspectives. And, you know, I think it's great. But for me, like I said, it's just, I think it's about teaching them respect, teaching them, you know, it's self-esteem, I think, is really, really big, man. I think it's overlooked. I think it really is overlooked, self-esteem, that word. But the meaning of it, I think, is really overlooked. And I think that's really big in the house, man, especially with both parents. Or even with, you know, just one parent, just self-esteem, man, just knowing your worth. And that's just me. That's my opinion on it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. It's on you, Slice.
Okay, I feel like my responsibility as far as changing things like what I may have not gotten as a kid was, I think you have to put in time with your kids, whether they per se your step kids or the young lady you're dating kids. I think you should put in time with their kids. You should try to have a communication line with them, not just as far as like maybe bringing something into the house and bringing them something to eat or something like that. But you know, putting in time with them, communication line with them, talking to them, even maybe taking them out and taking them out sometimes with you when you go into like events or whether you go into the store or whatever, and especially when you go into church, you should put in time with that with the wife or the girlfriend or the fiance and the kid and take them to church. You should always try to have some substance with that young kid, young girl or young boy, to show them that you're not just there for their mother, but you're there for them as well. Because when you date or marry a woman who has a child, you need to put in time and show that child that, hey, I'm going to take care of you as well as your mother. I'm going to be there for you and be a father figure in your life. And I think those are the most important things that I feel like I may have not gotten as a kid was, you know, a communication line and putting in time with me, coming to my sporting events or something like that, or even taking me to church. You know, that's things that are very important to help with the kid, I think.
No doubt. Good stuff. It's on you, Mo.
All right. Well, to piggyback on what Ty said, I felt just like Ty. It's like, hey, I'm not having kids because I ain't ready to have kids, and I don't want to be that, you know, that guy. And it's a shame that we got that's the exception and not the norm. It's like people are like, what's wrong with you? You don't have no kids? I'm like, I wasn't married at the time. I'm like, why am I have a kid when I'm not married or, you know, in a committed relationship or to the position where I'm going to have a child? I met one of my brothers at my dad's funeral. I met one of my brothers. I have two brothers and two sisters. I have one sister that we have the same mom and dad, but my dad has other kids. So I have 6 nephews and 4 nieces. And the biggest thing I tell them all is like, shouldn't be in your vocabulary. There's nothing you cannot do. You should be able to do everything. And my nephew, my sister's child that we have, he's my namesake, Maurice. And so I think I spoiled him and gave him everything I didn't have. So, and I used to always tell him like, hey, nephew, it's gonna get hard. It's gonna, you're gonna have to go through some things. He never really had to go through anything. High school came easy, AAU ball, it came easy. He went to Christopher Newport for one day, went to practice, and them boys ate his lunch. They came with, they were eating soup with a fork, not a spoon. And I told him that, he couldn't handle it. And so it messed him up. So I think if you shower him and give him too much and don't get him prepared for, those hard times like that, hey, it's rough. But, I wanted the best for him. I wanted, you know, to give him everything I didn't have. So the latest PlayStation, the latest Jordan, whatever came out, he had. And so, you know, he went lollygagging, half stepping, and hey, he paid for it. You know, so I mean, the other thing is like I'm big on education, so I reward them and let them know what the price of education costs and where education can get them by giving $20 an A, $10 a B, and then for a C you owe me $5, and if you get a D you owe me $10. So
Yes, sir.
equate that to, you know, education being a foundation where, you know, it can take you to where I'm at or where, you know, some of my other brothers are that, you know, other things can't, because education is the equalizer. I mean, sports can be, but one of my brothers went to Cal State Fullerton, Slice knows him, he, you know, and then the other one went to Walter State. So they both played college ball, and, you know, they're not doing as great as I am, but I mean, they're doing well for themselves. But I chose the education route, you know, and to go ahead and finish the degree and do this and that. That's the biggest thing that I take away is like education, like not trying to find a happy medium where you're not giving them too much, but you know, give them enough to be ready for that real world, like Joe said. Because when they get out there in them streets, I mean, hey, they don't care who you are, where you came from, or what you got at home, what you driving. Hey, like I told him, he said, man, you told me them boys was gonna come at me. I said, I told you that, you know, but you know, you thought you was all that, you know, you ain't never had to really work for nothing. And it came back to bite him. And so, I mean, fortunate thing is he's almost 30 and he hadn't had any kids, and you know, girls still pay for everything he wants. Trey tell you, wrong. Trey tell you, I mean, he ain't never had a job at 30 years old. Girls taking care of him. It's just, I mean, and that's not how we raised him, but because we sheltered him so much and gave him everything he wants. That's what he's used to. So girls are giving him everything he wants. So that's how he is. And I'm like, we did injustice to him by doing that. So it's like, hey, now you got to work for every little thing you got to do.
He must hoop, Mo, huh?
Yeah, that's why I told you he went to Christian school for one day.
Yeah, he sound like me. He sound like me when I was young, Mo. I was the same way. I ain't get a job till I was like 30-something too, and hey, hooping in the gym, how I got by.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, man, I think for me, I wrote love, time, and be a good listener, right? I think that, you know, growing up, you don't hear, especially in a Black community, like you definitely don't hear "I love you" a lot. You know what I mean? Like your parents just don't say that often. You know what I mean? It's like taboo almost. Time. My daughter, I actually played. I mean, she was the only kid, so dolls, all type of stuff. I made sure that I did everything. Go to all her games, you know what I mean? Soccer, track, you know, I'm there because I didn't have that. And then I think listening is so valuable. Like, I remember being a kid and I always felt like adults didn't listen. You know how you had good ideas and you was like, you knew that stuff that they were telling you wasn't right, but it was like, boy, I pay the bill. But you don't tell me what to do. I'm the mother. I'm the grandmother. I'm the father, whatever. But it's like, oh, you could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you? So for me, I've always like listened to my daughter, who's very intelligent. As you talk about education, she carries like a 3.8 GPA. So we made sure that, you know, school was definitely important. I wanted her to be a better student than me because I really didn't apply myself. Not that I wasn't smart, but I just didn't apply myself. So I made sure that she applied herself. Like when she came home, like the TV don't come on first. Like you do your homework, then you watch TV. And now she's at that point where she do both at the same time. I don't understand how kids could do that, but she holding 3.8, so you really can't say nothing. You know what I mean? Like that's how they function. You know what I mean? But and then I think it's imperative that our behavior, our leadership, our empathy, and security, and that is the driving force for our family. You know what I mean? Like it's important. Like I have two daughters. I have a daughter with my ex-wife, and then I have a daughter with my current wife. And I love both of them the same. And one is 17 and one is 30 something, and it's totally two different spectrums, 17 and 30 something. But I give them both the same advice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if they both my daughters, I think that when you have a family, especially when you have a family and you marry to somebody and they have a kid and then you have a kid, it's important that you treat and you love both kids the same. You know what I mean? Because a lot starts that it could go south real bad. Like, yo, why you treat my kid like that? So my wife's daughter, I've always treated her like my daughter. You know what I mean? Always, like, you know what I mean? So in our relationship, like we could talk about anything, and as well as my daughter. So I think it's important as a leader of the house, a father, the head of the household, that you make sure the house. My wife always preach on this. I just want to be secure. Make sure that I'm secure. If I'm secure, then I'm happy. I don't need anything else. And when you have a strong woman with you and you secure them, you make them feel safe, then life is great. The women, if they don't feel safe, it's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? Like we might have different things that we like, but for women, security is so important. Like they know you got their back. They know if something happened, you're gonna take care of them. Like that's vital. You know what I mean? So I think just love time, like I said, love time and listening, and just be there for them no matter what. You know what I mean? Because that's some of the things that I know I didn't have growing up. So I make sure that is the number one focus. So what I want to do now, since we're finished with the questions, I just want to go around real quick. Everybody get about 2 minutes or so. Just just give an overview or some lasting words or whatever, and then we'll be done for the evening, man. But it's definitely been a pleasure. I learned a lot from a lot of you dudes. A lot of y'all was real open about stuff, and then that's what this show is about. Like we in a place right now in our country, man. We can't be silent no more. Like we can't not say what's on our mind. But I love what we do is that we say it in a respectable, educated manner, so that we don't come off as just some hood dudes, even if we from the hood. But like, yo, we educated from the streets and in the books. You know what I'm saying? So it's on you, Ty.
Well, hey, I always love talking to everybody and making sure everybody's good. 3 real things that I picked up from this call is that one is that as far as like women having dads, like I believe that as a dad, your daughter, you have to be the first man that she falls in love with. You know what I mean? Like you have to be like God to her. So that way when she go out in this world, like Rome said, she ain't accepting none of that BS. You know what I mean? Because my daddy taught me this is how a man supposed to take care of a woman. Not only the way he treat me, but the way he treat my mama. So I'm not going for that. And if you really think about it, growing up as men, all them girls that we used to try to talk to and we used to call them stuck up. I bet you the reason they were stuck up is because they had a dad at home. You know what I mean? Like they morals was a little higher. Like you couldn't just say, "Hey, baby, come here," and then you got them. Nah, dog. Like they not going for it. And we called them stuck up. But now thinking about it, they probably had a dad at home. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing is like college and all that. Like when I really think about it, like it's crazy because I never thought about college, like, cause I never had no one around me who went to college. You know what I mean? So that wasn't the goal. Where we grew up from, the goal is don't get killed and don't go to jail. That was the goal. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I didn't have college was this, and we didn't have that.
You breaking up, Ty?
It was me and him. Like we didn't know, but we made sure we worked together and figured it out. You know what I'm saying? And then like what Dana said with self-esteem, man, like to me, that's like the key to life, man. Like if you don't believe in you, then you really can't believe in nobody else. And like, you know what I mean? Like I was talking to my son the other day, because I was telling everybody before we got on the call yesterday at practice, I played this young boy basketball, a 16-year-old one-on-one for some money. And my son was like, how come you was the way you was talking, like you knew you was gonna win? And I told him, I said, it's a confidence thing. And I'm not confident like cocky confident. I'm confident because I know for a fact I put in more work than this kid. I've been doing this longer than this kid. So there's no way he's gonna beat me. You know what I mean? And that's where the confidence comes from. It comes from put in the work. Now, if I don't never shoot the ball or whatever, I can't go out there and tell him, oh, I'm gonna shoot better than you, because I don't know. But what he don't know is that I work out more than you do, homie. I'm older than you, but I've been doing this before you was born. So you're 16. You're not gonna beat me one-on-one in basketball. You jump higher than me. You're probably faster than me. But I guarantee you, I'm gonna put this ball in the hoop a whole lot more than you are. And it's because of my mentality. Like, I have a mentality as there's no one better than me. Like, there might be, but until you prove it, you're not gonna beat me one-on-one. You know what I mean? That's just the mentality. And that's where the self-esteem comes in. But self-esteem comes with putting in work. You don't just get self-esteem knowing you can do something without putting the work in first.
That's that NYC mentality right there. It's on you, Joe.
Yeah, it's like this. You got to tell your kids this. It's a ball. I got the ball. There's the basket on the other side, and there's all sorts of things that's trying to stop you. You need that bucket. You got to go and get that bucket. You can get that bucket. I know you. You got to know your kids. That's one thing too. A lot of times back in the day, our parents had an agenda, and I understand how life was then. But now we can get to know our kids a little bit more and know the things that interest them. That way, when they have trouble, they won't be so shy and coming to us. You know what I'm saying? Just like Rome said, listening. That's super important. Another thing I just want to say is that I like, getting together with you guys and sharing, what we think about different things. And I just want to let you guys know, I probably could come up with the cure to AIDS, but I don't think there's a better thing that I do in life as being a father. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
Just me personally. I could come up with a whole bunch of things, but I think my calling in life, that's what I was meant to be right there. And who knows how to turn out down the road, but I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That's what's up. So you, Dana?
Yeah, I always enjoy our calls, man. I enjoy you guys, speaking to everybody. Because everybody knows what they're talking about. You don't have a whole bunch of people just spitting off crazy stuff. But, I mean, it's self-esteem, like I said, was really big in what I was saying, because I'm glad Todd was saying, because it's, you got to put in work, man. You got to have the respect. As far as the Congress thing, somebody said something about I forgot, man. Oh man. It'll come back to me because I was thinking about other stuff. But like I say, man, I don't have too much, but I enjoy our calls, man, because you get to listen to other people's opinions about stuff. And it's big, man, because it sparks what I want to. Now all of a sudden I want to research something. And it's another thing too. Why are all these murders coming to light now? That's what I wanted to find. I'm trying to find out. I wanted to ask y'all that. Why are all these murders coming to life now? Why are these Elijah McClains and all this? This has happened a couple of years. That happened a year ago. Like, why is all this stuff happening now? Why are these big corporations all of a sudden they want to, give to the cause? And where's this Black Lives money going to? That's what I would like. That's another thing I would like to know. And that's just an honest question. I would like to know where the money's going to. Who is it serving? Is it serving people in the community? Are we seeing it? You took down all the hospitals and put in these city cares or whatever. Like, where is it going to? Where is all this stuff going to? It's not going towards the schools. Where is it going, man? That's one of my questions I want to know. I want to find out where, excuse me, where's this stuff going, man? Why are we just now seeing these murders that's happened a year ago, a couple of years ago? Like, why are we just now seeing this stuff? Why? You know, and what's going to be what happened to the other officers that were in on the whole Breonna Taylor thing? What happened to them? Can't just fire one. What happened to the other one? You know, come on, man.
That firing stuff is whack. I ain't with that. You kill somebody and you lose your job because you can get another job. You kill somebody, you need to go to jail just like everybody else go to jail. That
Right.
firing and
that's what I'm trying to say.
whack.
Like, that's nothing, man. That's firing. I want utter and complete annihilation. I'm sorry to say that. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see I saw a video of one of the guys that killed that was in on the Floyd thing. He's out shopping. What's going on with that?
Oreos.
Right. How does he feel that comfortable to go out and shop? How does he feel that comfortable? I mean, we always talk all this stuff, man. George Zimmerman's still running around here. I get disgusted sometimes, man. Just thinking about, us killing. New York's murder rate went crazy now. People shooting in New York like it's going out of style now. It's almost like it's going back to the 80s. I mean, it's like, well, I don't understand it, man. The anger's got to go somewhere else. Something's got to break here. Something's got to break. Everything has to be reformed, rewritten. Everything. Not just one thing, not just one policy, two policies. Everything has to be rewritten. They don't want to do it. That's my thing, man.
Good stuff, man. Passion,
Yeah, that's good.
I see it. I hear the passion in you, brother, for sure. And that's what this is all about. It's on you, Slice.
That was deep, Dane. Yeah. Man, I really enjoyed the phone us coming together and having a Zoom call, man, because this is very educational, very beneficial. We get a chance to bump ideas and hear everybody else's opinion and thoughts and they processes on what they think is better. And this is like iron sharpens iron. This is I enjoy it every week we get together to be able to talk about life issues and social issues that need to be better in this world. Like Dane said, we still got a long way to go. But I do like where we're heading to. Hopefully this will continue until we make America great for the first time. Like I said before, like I said, we got a long way to go, but I like the movement, where the Black movement is going right now. And I hope that we continue to push forward. Don't stop. We got to keep moving. We got to keep moving the Black movement, Black Lives Matter movement, until we get to where everybody has equality in this country. Not just some people, but everybody.
Gotta keep pushing. Gotta keep pushing.
Gotta keep pushing.
It's on you, Mo. I like that. Keep pushing. Don't stop. Good job.
All right. I got a couple of takeaways, and like everyone said, it's always great to see that, you cats grew up in New York, Slice grew up in Louisiana, and I grew up in North Carolina, and we still have some of the same opinions and same values on like fatherhood and life. And you hear so many young brothers that make excuses like, well, I ain't have a dad, I ain't have a role model, I ain't have nobody in my life. Okay.
Excuses.
You gotta stop.
I never said that.
That's what I'm saying. And that's like the common denominator, common theme is like, we never said that. It's like, the biggest thing is, piggyback off what Dane was just saying. I think a lot of this is coming to light now because, the pandemic. We're all locked in. We're doing stuff like this. There's no sports to take away from it. There's no place to go hide and run away and get there. Find that place where, like, okay, I'm gonna just watch sports. I ain't gotta watch. It's not gonna be in my face every day.
Right.
And the biggest thing, though, I took away from like sacrifice. You got to sacrifice something. Like Ty said, he had his son when he's 40. He had to, like, okay, you guys, you might want to have a kid when you're younger or whatever, but hey, you want them to have better and you want them to be better, you got to make sacrifices. And that's one thing I appreciate about Avery Bradley, what he's doing right now is making that sacrifice. He like, ball, I could play, go.
His child has
family
a right. His child has a condition.
I mean,
Right.
So family first, sacrifice, and no excuses. I mean, that's the big things that I took away from all this today. Is like those things that been a common thread. That's what I had.
Hey, Rome, I know it's your turn to go last. I just want to say one thing. First of all, I see the Black Lives Matter shirt. Like, I'm with the Black Lives Matter, and I understand it, but I know for a fact the Black Lives Movement is not going to be correct until Black Lives Matter to us as Black people. Like, we can't have people out here fighting for our lives when we taking our lives away from ourselves.
Right.
And I'm tired of people like Black people making excuses. Oh, Black on Black crime. No, listen, man. Just as I said, for instance, if we all 6 of us is on a team and we go fight against some other team, but while we fighting them, me and Joe start fighting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how we gonna win?
Yeah.
Like, we're already know who the enemy is, so how we gonna fight amongst ourselves when we already know we have a common enemy? So I don't like. I was talking to someone today and they was getting on my nerve with that. Only 2% of the people really. No, listen, man. No percent. If I know that I respect you and I don't hate you, how can I kill you? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't have to love you. You know what I mean? Like, love is a real word. Like, but you're not gonna love every Black person, because if you think that, you're lying to yourself. But you can respect them and not have hate towards them that will make you kill them. Because you can't kill someone that you don't hate. Like, hate brings upon murders and all that. And we have self-hate amongst ourselves. And until we get rid of that, all that Black Lives Matter, it ain't gonna matter, man. And that's why sometimes I kind of go back and forth, because I understand why white people be tripping on Black Lives Matter. Because they really do sit back and be like, y'all out here killing yourselves, so how can you get upset only when we do? So think about it. We'll have murder, like in Chicago the other day, it was like 100-some murders. I didn't really hear nobody that upset. But if one cop killed one of us, oh my God, like everybody, the world got to end. We got to cut. No, dog. No, none of us need to be getting killed unnecessarily. So if we kill our own, we need to flip out. If they kill us, we need to flip out. It should be the same, because to me, that's racism. You know what I mean? Like, you letting your own people kill, but you ain't saying that you only get mad when they kill us.
You said something and wrong. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna let Dana go, and I know Mo want to chime in, and then I'll go.
I just like that whole George Floyd thing. Nobody ever talked about the retired police officer that was holding down that pawn shop that got killed by another Black man. Nobody ain't talk about that.
In St. Louis.
Right. Nobody ain't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And it's wrong. And that's what Ty's talking about. And that's where we gotta go. And that's just one of the examples. But that's what I wanted to mention. That was it.
Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, wrong is wrong, son. It don't matter who doing the wrong. That's my mentality. Like, wrong is wrong. I don't care who is doing the wrong. And to me, it's like we know, how white people are racist towards us. But I think that racism is creeping into some of us to the point where we only get mad when they do something wrong to us. Like, nah, man, it's wrong. Because I know everybody on this panel know people that's been murdered, right? Now think about that. We all know people that's been murdered. How many of them been murdered by white people?
Not one.
Think about it.
Not one.
Real. Think about it. I told somebody that the other day and they got quiet, because I'm trying to tell them, like, can't just get mad when they do it to us. We have to get mad when we do it to us. We have to self-check. that's why I'm a type person. I always believe in self. Like, you have to check self first. You have to get yourself right before you can talk about anybody else being right. You got to get yourself right. And roll my nose on you, because I can keep talking all day.
Nah. I'm gonna let Mo go, and then I'm gonna close it
I
out.
mean, my bad.
Yeah, no, Ty was absolutely right. I mean, man, we gotta matter to self first, because, you know, the first thing, you know, you hear a lot. I had an uncomfortable conversation with my neighbors, and the first thing they, you know, want to say, like, that all lives matter, or, you know, of course they feel like George Floyd didn't deserve to die. They shouldn't have been judge, jury, and executioner. But, you know, that but always comes out.
Right.
Always.
He was high, you know, he was on PCP, or he was on heroin, he was drugged out of his mind, and
Where we getting black?
he was a constant criminal and all that stuff. But he didn't deserve to be murdered. But he was a constant criminal, and you know that but always comes up. And
Right.
then I'm like, so I said, what about Tamir Rice? They were like, who?
Right.
I said Tamir Rice. They said, who was it? I said, 11-year-old boy that was murdered in 2.2 seconds for playing with a toy gun in the park because someone called and said he was brandishing a weapon and terrorizing the neighborhood. And they didn't know. They were like, oh, I never heard about that one. I didn't see that one. I said, no, busy watching NASCAR and everything else was going on in the world at that time.
Right.
So they looked it up and they were astonished. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, we bring
They have no idea.
Us, but we still have some of us, like you said, in Chicago, that just popped off, where we killed Valentine's Day massacre, all that stuff goes on amongst us. And they look at the numbers and say, well, the numbers are higher and it's less of you guys and it's more, you know, crime and harsh criminal. I say that's where they're concentrating the efforts of the police. They're not in these neighborhoods, you know, put people in jail for white crimes. I said, you do something. I said, if I speed or something, it's more likelihood for me going to jail and just getting a ticket. No, it's not. Like, yes, it is. I mean, it's harsher punishment and harsher penalties for us versus them. And they, you know, they just won't see that.
Right.
And they won't, because they see
doing Fed time, I'm doing state time.
Mm-hmm. And it's like that because, you know, they see, well, you know, he just got out of jail. And then even with the McDonald's, or no, the Wendy's thing in Atlanta.
Oh boy.
Oh gosh. He's like, now making him, and they always change the narrative and make us be worse than we are. Now they're saying, you know, he was in the line with his white girlfriend while she was going in and burning up McDonald's.
Come on.
I mean,
always sucks.
Everything.
Ty definitely made some great points about black first and foremost, but I definitely agree with you and understand that. But they are called to protect and serve too, and we got to call that out as well.
Right.
You're definitely right about black on black crime more than anything. We should be upset about that. But those are not law enforcement people when
that's right.
We have our own people killing each other for nothing.
Right.
But yeah, we should call that out as well.
Correct.
Yeah, I think in closing, the thing that I took away from this call, man, is just being around some brothers that have a certain intellect and a certain skill set to contribute to a positive call, because we see so much people try to discuss certain things, but not in a proper way. You know what I mean? It's certain ways that for us, we have to always be better. So we have to carry ourselves a certain way. That's why it's important for me not to take away from anybody, but I know the importance of speaking in a manner in which we can reach those who don't look like us. 'Cause that's who we really need to talk to, right? So if they see this, they're going to say, some interesting stuff. They can't critique us as they would like to, because they're going to hear intellect. They're not going to hear foolishness. And I think our people don't understand sometimes, even when we have the right intentions, we go about it the wrong way. And nothing's going to happen. When you speak to power, you have to get on their level but bring some authenticity of yourself as well. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want you to just not be yourself and sell out and be like some of these dudes on TV, but you have to speak in a certain way. You know?
Oh, please don't start, please.
Yeah. So I think for us, it's important that we continue to have important talks, certain discussions, and hit it right head on, because it's definitely needed. It's a lot of people that need the information, and at the end of the day, we come from different backgrounds, and we're gonna have different perspectives. But the one common goal is that we want better for not just our people, for people in general. You know what I mean? But we have to start with self. Like in our community, like the no snitching and all of that. Like we have to be just upset when people in our community die from the hands of us, the same way we enrage when a cop does something to us. It's supposed to be the same energy. And until we get that, there will be no justice and no peace. So with that being said, man, we gotta end the show for today. I thank all you cats for being on. And our next call, we'll have our next call. If somebody want to think of some topics or whatever, some questions, just hit me up, and I'm open to anything, man. So with that being said, man, I'm done.
All right, man.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
We got to talk about them
right. Yo, no.
that season up. Now they shouldn't be starting that season up. I know that.
We can
Oh,
talk.
yeah.
We can talk about that next. Y'all can send me the questions.
All right.
Gotcha.
I put you on that.
All right.
Peace.
All right.
Peace, y'all.